Why do Sith Lords have yellow eyes, and why do only a select few of them have them, and others change only for periods of time, and do not remain that way? The Sith eye is red and fiery, with yellow at the center, as many believe the eye is the gateway into the soul, and it is the same with Star Wars. When a Sith or dark side user gains yellow eyes, they have reached a level or connection with the dark side of the Force long or powerful enough that it warrants a physical reaction. The dark side is a flame that grows bright and strong, and can hold devastating effects for one's enemies, but just as it is used as a tool to destroy others, it eventually begins to corrupt and decay the wielder of such power. Anakin did not have yellow eyes when he entered the temple during Operation Nightfall. Only after killing his Jedi brothers and sisters does his hatred and power swell within him. Palpatine told Anakin that once he truly destroyed his Jedi self and executed the Jedi within the temple, he would feel the potential of the dark side. After doing so, Anakin's eyes did in fact change, representative of the anger and power raging within him. Anakin's eyes again changed to yellow while destroying the remaining separatists, as these individuals Anakin had long desired dead, and as a Jedi tormented his every thought. When Padme arrived on Mustafar, Anakin's eyes were no longer yellow, as the presence of his wife, whom he loved, momentarily partially quelled the darkness within him, as his son would years later. In his duel with Obi-Wan, Anakin's eyes again turn yellow once his rage for his former master boils to the point of overflow, and his hatred and feeling of betrayal prompt him to have a physical reaction to this feeling. When it comes down to it, Sith eyes represent the power they hold within them, but not just their ordinary power, their unchecked rage and hatred. Sidious is not a normal dark side user at all. His pure connection to the dark side makes it so his eyes are fiery red and yellow all of the time. It is also largely believed Vader, once entering his suit, had yellow eyes the large majority of the time as well, only having them fade when his son removed his helmet in Return of the Jedi. Count Dooku is an interesting case, as his darkness is largely restrained, although there have been occurrences when Dooku's eyes turn yellow as well. The case for Kylo Ren is also unique. Kylo's eyes do not turn yellow even after the death of his father, because even then he is tormented with his actions and the struggle within does not cease. In fact, unlike Anakin, once Kylo kills his father, he feels weaker than he has in a very long time, unlike the swell of power experienced by Anakin once he killed his brothers and sisters inside of the Jedi Temple. Kylo's inner pull towards the light still remains, now even potentially stronger than ever, and although the darkness within him still attempts to rage towards the surface, the good within, for the time at least, holds it back. Sith are also able to hide their eyes by using the Force, with such abilities as Conceal Presence, where a dark side user can in large part conceal their darkness from those around them. This, along with other factors, is what allowed Palpatine to remain hidden, although his darkness did somewhat spill out, especially towards the end of the Clone Wars. Dooku's case for the eyes is that he in large part exercised restraint, with no doubt his decades as a Jedi Master allowing him to do so. Contrary to Anakin, Dooku was never inherently brash or aggressive, in large part fully abiding and conforming to the Jedi way as his time as such. Although his alignment altered, the skills and traits he constructed over his time as a Jedi did not, and he most often fully contained the rage within him. The case for Maul is very interesting. Although he no longer considers himself a Sith as of Rebels, does not mean he does not align with the dark side, which he clearly still does. Just as I have explained in prior videos, one does not need to be a Sith to follow the teachings of the way of the dark side, simply have the power of it raging inside of them. The Inquisitors are yet another example of this, as they have experienced training in the dark side, and the Seventh Sister and Grand Inquisitor have too experienced a connection to the dark side powerful enough to have a physical reaction, or the lack of knowledge enough to fully have control over it. A Dark Jedi too can inherit the yellow eyes, all dependent on the rage within them and their level of control. Snoke's black eyes are still a big mystery, as we know he is a user of the dark side of the Force and possesses much knowledge over it. Snoke's eyes may be black for the same reason Dooku's are not yellow all of the time, because he has control over his inner darkness and thus his eyes appear black. Although rare, Dooku has displayed yellow eyes before when his anger has overcome him. His duel with Anakin on Tatooine is a good example of this. this. As far as Snoke, he does in fact seem like a controlled individual, logically thinking through problems rather than solely operating out of rage. Another possible explanation is that Snoke uses a version and comprehension of the dark side we are yet to understand. To some level, the dark side has also been known to drain the color out of one's eyes. Although not representative of a pure rage-filled connection that the yellow eyes hold, in some cases dark Jedi have experienced gray eyes, such as Asajj Ventress's eyes going from a piercing blue to more of a gray and then back. Another possible example of this could be the white or gray eyes of the fifth brother, and potentially the Jedi version of the Grand Inquisitor, although his species is known to have silver eyes. So there you have it. To me, the yellow eyes always represented one of two things. The first being someone who is experiencing the full embrace of the dark side but are unready to handle it fully, and the other being the indication of a true master of its power, especially if they have them all of the time. Sidious being the best example I can think of. So how do you feel about this? Do you like the yellow eyes and what they represent? And what do you think Snoke's eyes mean, if anything? If you have any other lore topics or questions you want answered, feel free to tweet them at me at StupendousWave on Twitter or leave them in the comments and I will try my best to answer your question or make a full video dedicated to your topic. Thanks so much for watching, may the Force be with you, and have a great day.